What up, gamers? We are back with some more modern action. This time we've got Lantern Control versus Hardened Scales, and this is earlier recording, so we'll do our best to try to keep the libraries and everything revealed the best we can, but we have since updated and made sure that we have zoomed out more. We were able to get more equipment for that. So we'll do our best for this one, but we'll talk a little bit about the decks, get into things, but thank you for everyone tuning in. Sorry we weren't here last Thursday. We had some internet issues that prevented us from being able to actually upload and do anything with an internet outage. So we sadly missed Thursday's episode, but we're back. So, of course, we do have content every Monday and Thursday for the paper gameplay here that you see here, and then the sprinkling of MTGO and other good stuff on Saturdays for anyone that's into that sort of thing. But let's get into the two decks here. So Hardened Scales has more or less updated to a red-green version with Edge of Eternity, but some players are still rocking out with some Simic versions, getting access to some powerful sideboard cards and some powerful cards in the main board as well. But so we got Patchwork to start things off here. It is all about getting a bunch of artifacts on the battlefield and manipulating +1/+1 counters. So if that sounds like your thing, that might be the deck for you to test out. On the other side of things, Lantern Control here is going to be one of those that is a kind of slow grind, but I've taken the traditional Lantern Control that used to exist and kind of meshed it together with an Urza Thopter combo build. So, of course, these lists can be found on our Mox Field if you're interested in checking out those. Our Pithing Needle was naming a, what was it? The Arcbound Ravager. I was like the sacrificey dude. But Agatha's Soul Cauldron are going to come up, and again, every time you cast an artifact, Patchwork's going to just get bigger. We kind of are just sort of building up at this point in time here. Now, the annoying part of Patchwork is it does have wards, so you do have to kind of manipulate and work around that. All right, search. Let's see what is going to get grabbed here. It's a Boz, a Ozolith. Like, where are we going here with the search? I like Lantern Control. I played it back in the day when you were like a blue-black version of it. I've played it when it's been the green-black version of it. Currently on the I played it when it was mono blue. I'm enjoying the blue-white right now. I think it's been pretty good, but that is an annoying card. Haywire Might. Yeah, we've talked about this before, is like if you're running an Urza Saga and you've got access to green, Haywire Might is just like peak. It does so well of being able to cause problems for your opponent. So how's everyone been enjoying Edge of Eternities? I've been picking up a couple of cards. We've got some fun MTGO content coming out soon for some new stuff. We've got some Esper Blink. We've got some Tezzeret Tron coming up here, but those are in the future. But for the time being, we do have a Haywire Might poppin' and Exxon that Urza Saga. We will make our construct in response, so that will help out a little bit here. But sadly, at this point, you can see when we recorded this, we forgot the big dice. So we're going to do our best to try to track and monitor and keep track of what is going on the battlefield here. But there's the Arcbound. We still have the Pithing Needle, trying to keep that in check. But you can see the counters are increasing because the namesake of the deck, that Hardened Scales enchantment out there, making sure all of those counters are going to be increasing. And we need to keep that in check, knowing that there is like the explosive wins that are all capable at the hands of that Arcbound Ravager. So if you're wondering how to fight against this deck, those are always safe bets to go for. Now, if this Arcbound were to die and it was to go to the graveyard, and then Agatha would be able to take it and throw it in her Soul Cauldron and turn that Patchwork into a Arcbound Ravager, our Pithing Needle no longer is effective there. We'd have to get a second one and try to name Patchwork or try to name Agatha. Like, we gotta, it's tough. But yeah, showing off our sweet token that we've got. That's also a business card. It's got our links all on the back there. So if you are meeting up with us and want a token while we're at any of our travels coming up in the fall, we've got Commander Sealed up in Rochester. So if you're not familiar with that event, it is an amazing event. Oh, big Kappa Cannoneer coming down here. Let's kind of talk about that real quick here. That's the other thing, like, because it is landing control, but has this like plan B, plan C elements of just like, here's big scary artifacts, or here's a combo built in. Like, it's got a lot of potential, but the ward is going to be really useful here. But yeah, there we see Haywire Mite going to get attached on there. That's going to be a bit of a problem. But like I was saying, Commander Sealed coming up. If you're not familiar with the event, it's an amazing event to raise money for charity up in Rochester. But it is like a sealed event like you would, but you're in a pod of 4 people. Everybody opens their packs, and you can trade with each other, try to build the best decks, and then you're going to be playing a couple rounds of Commander. I think it was 4 rounds of Commander last time, but it's a ton of fun. I had a blast being able to go. So I'll be going to that at the beginning of September. And then we've got MagicCon Atlanta at the end of September. So a lot of travels coming around in the coming days, weeks, months, getting into the fall. So it should be a really exciting stuff. But again, yeah, if you're around and want to play Modern, we'll be having a special Modern section at MagicCon Atlanta where you can be able to come and test out Modern decks, come play Modern, just hang out and do all that sort of fun stuff. But the Lantern of Insight is going to get revealed. So there is a Harbinger of Seas on top for a Hardened Scales player and our Ensnaring Bridge on top for the Land Control player here. So yeah, a lot of players have been testing out like the Magus of the Moons, the Harbinger of the Seas in Hardened Scales list after they changed the rule to Urza Saga and being like, oh, I could have just keep making constructs. That seems pretty cool. Let's test it out. All right, fetching. All right, so now the navigation mode comes in. It's like, okay, how do we survive this and get out of this? We know that there is, of course, the Aether Spell Bomb that we have to get through. We have to deal with these big old constructs that are coming our way, and the Kappa Cannoneer is bringing the beats, making it very difficult. And sadly, it's just like just off camera. We can't quite see what it is, but we'll let you know. We'll know. We'll figure it out. It'll all make sense. But again, we have more lantern controls in the pipeline and in the queue to watch in the future that will be able to see the screen a little bit better there. So you'll just have to wait for those matches. But in the meantime, another Arcbound Ravager is here. So big old Patchwork Automaton. 8/8 there. 8/8. Do we pop it and return it? Looks like that is going to be the case here. So return that. I mean, it got real big. Just kind of like say we don't want to deal with it. We'll pay the ward. Pay 1. It looks like, yeah, we are going to be do the Agatha Soul Cauldron, sacrificing. Ooh, clear the path here. We don't need this anymore. It's done its job. And now all of those Arcbound Ravagers have been able to become active again. They get to start sacrificing and causing problems. And if you are monitoring the board and keeping track of it, you know that there is that potential for death with that Inkmoth Nexus there. So finding ways to deal with that is going to be kind of #1 priority here. Lots of lands, big old creatures, no artifact able to enter right now. So Kappa Cannoneer not becoming unblockable. Yeah, no like manipulation pieces for the Lantern Control player here. We don't have any of our Codex Shredders or anything like that that would allow kind of the manipulation at the top of the library. So we don't really have to worry in that regard. But really looking for the question is like, there is the Ensnaring Bridge, right? Do we play the Ensnaring Bridge here? If we do, we kind of lock up the board, but it's still Inkmoth swinging in because if we have, I think the hand sits here with an ensnaring bridge and a land. And so the debate is how much damage can we push, and can we get our hand low enough? Will it even matter with ensnaring bridge? Because ensnaring bridge states that players cannot attack if their power is greater than the number of cards in your hand. And if you go, all right, well, I have one card in hand, I go, well, here's a 1/1. That means I get to attack. All right, 6/6 Kappa Cannoneer. Let's try to send a message. All right. Immediately, we'll do some manipulations here. Block. This will move. Put a bunch of counters there. All right, and then the turn is passed. So we did not go for the ensnaring bridge here, but we've got actually the let's do some making of the construct. Or sorry, we're gonna turn the Inkmoth into a creature and then use the Agathas to make it a little bit bigger. But yeah, we're setting ourselves up here. So I guess it wouldn't have like mattered with the way that things are set up. Let's see. Activate. Okay, so we had a whir of invention in hand. We're going to try to whir for 3 here to get an ensnaring bridge. But we're met with a metallic rebuke to just say no. The power of the Simic Hardened Scales. Attack with this 3/3 Inkmoth Nexus. Sacrificing Arcbound Ravager here. And there's 11 total impact. Death by infect. You love to see it. Or maybe not. I love to see it. I always joke with the Hardened Scales players is please kill me with infect. All right, getting into sideboard action. What do we've got available? This is where those consigned to memories and those types of effects are going to be coming in for a lot of the players. Also, if there's any anti-artifact or artifact destruction types effects, part of the thing is like a lot of that stuff that exists would also hurt the land or control player, so they really need that targeted stuff. So, Pithing Needle again. And Arcbound is going to be named again. But we saw the reason why, right? Game 1 really showed us the power of the Arcbound Ravager and why you want to target that down and make sure that that is kind of left in check. But a turn 1 Hardened Scales is really good way to start things off. We'll see what the kind of the follow-ups here. And, a Portable Hole going to start to interact with that. And then we're left with an Emery to follow it up here. Let's see what goodies are in the graveyard. Urza. We've got a Codex Shredder, Glimmer Void, and an Ensnaring Bridge. Ancient Stirrings. Let's do some digging. Find something useful here. Well, that's a very useful thing. Haywire Might, of course, can cause a lot of problems. Can pop that Portable Hole. Can pop that Pithing Needle. And Urza Saga coming out. There's the Haywire Might. All right, Glimmer Void's really a good card, but it is very fragile. If all the artifacts were destroyed, like I got blown out the other day with a meltdown type effect, popping all of my artifacts, and then Glimmer Void had to be sacrificed. Oh, it was a whole thing. You'll see that video at some point. It's, again, one of those videos that's in the queue. Another Urza Saga coming out here. Oh, and so we milled off the top, and you got to see what that top card was, which is the Kappa Cannoneer. So the blind mill effects taking place. Yeah, send a message. Poke for 1. Haywire Might coming in here, and now we'll be able to do the pop. Get rid of the Pithing Needle. So that's giving us indication of what is the follow-up, which is going to be an Arcbound. So Arcbound does get access to some abilities. No other creatures, though, so if there was a way to deal with this, this would be the time to do so. Ooh, all right, stock up. So now people have been talking about this idea of stock up. Is it like it's great in like Mono Blue Tron? We've seen it do work in those types of lists, but you go, okay, if you're playing in Snaring Bridge, isn't stock up like a non-bow? Like it doesn't actually work the way you want it to, but because we're running Urza and have the Urza package turning all of our artifacts into mana rocks, and a lot of our artifacts are like one cost stuff, we are set in a really good position to be like, yeah, okay, I'll stock up, I'll get, a lantern, I'll get a codex shredder, I'll get a pithing needle. Like there's so many tools, or even zero cost stuff with like welding jars and things like that. So it's like I find it more beneficial than detrimental at this point in time, but it's all, play with the decks if you want, test them out, see what feels right for you. All right, construct going to get created off the Urza Saga before the search. What are we going to grab here? I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Ozolith, but I like grabbing the Ozolith when I know I'm going to win. But ooh, pithing needle. Emery's going to be named in this, saying no more cards from your graveyard. We're going to put a stop to that now. And so the response was, you can name Codex Shredder. You don't want to keep getting milled, do you? All right, another Ink Moth coming. But no attacks. Nothing setting up yet. Just sort of both players in this kind of setup mode here. There's the Urza. So we'll get a construct. Three construct. Pithing needle number 2. And we're going to go with the Arcbound Ravager again, putting a stop to that. So that's a nice little way to just sort of like keep that in check. Blind Mill, Forest off the top. So yeah, this is the slow, like this is kind of what you want the Lantern Control deck to sort of be doing, is the slow setup, build up. We've got some blockers out here. The dangers are like, there's still we have no reach, no flying, so there's still just the potential of an Ink Moth coming at us here. But we've got another Urza Saga about to go and resolve. Is this time for the Ozolith? Are we done? Do we not run the Ozolith anymore? I don't know. I like the Ozolith a lot, but another construct coming out. Search is going. What are we going to get? Zabaz? Get some more creatures out? It's hard to like make the lines too, knowing what is in hand and what's not. Like we have limited information in that regard because we're not 100% sure what is like in our opponent's hand to know what they might be wanting to grab off this search. But it's like getting another creature out is probably safe with Zabaz. Oh yeah, we're talking about the Tezzeret. Yeah, there's the Zabaz. All right, so modular. We've got, of course, some extra counters that can go off of the modular triggers and all that fun stuff. So Zabaz, the Glimmer Wasp. I just like saying the name Zabaz. All right, another Ink Moth Nexus coming out. So setting up that big beats coming across here. And yeah, 5/5, but Emery's going to immediately jump in the way because she has done her job. She got a Codex Shredder back. She pulled a Pithing Needle to focus down on that, so. All right. So the question is, do we get any lanterns? How are we going to deal with these 2 5/5s? Ooh, okay, Thopter Foundry here. So, Urza, Thopter Foundry, and Sword of the Meek are the 3-card combos that exist. If you have all 3 of those, you are able to gain infinite life and make infinite Thopters, because you tap your Sword of the Meek. Well, if Sword of the Meek was in the graveyard, you'd have to sacrifice another artifact to do that. But you cannot sack tokens. But you tap Sword of the Meek for a blue off of Urza, sacrifice it to Thopter Foundry. It'll go to the graveyard. A Thopter's created. It's a 1/1. Sword of the Meek sees this and returns from the graveyard, attached and equipped to that 1/1. Rinse and repeat. Keep tapping the Sword of the Meek, sacrificing it, and every time you're making a Thopter off Thopter Foundry, you gain a life. Oh, okay. Let's just kind of lock up the board a bit. We're building up and setting up, getting ourselves ready for the Thopter Foundry combo. It looks like we're missing Sword of the Meek here. There's tutor effects. There's other effects to go for, but we're now in this sort of sit and wait. All right. 6/6. And then we've got 5 mana available to us. Because we still have that ability of Urza that we can spin the wheel, pay 5 mana, shuffle your library, and you can play the top card. Or, play the card that's revealed. Exile it, and then you can play it that turn. All right, stirrings. So the board's kind of gummed up and locked up here. So it's like find an answer. Looking for the Soul Cauldron to be able to use Haywire Might. We're looking for, other ways to kind of stop this lockup here. It's relying on the Ensnaring Bridge to lock things up. We do have the Ink Moths, though, but because the Pithing Needle is there, stopping the Arcbound Ravager, we cannot win through an Ink Moth right now. We could just, push for damage and just, swing for 1, but with the Thopter Foundry, this could be just all right, I'll sacrifice my construct. That's a token. We'll sacrifice our Codex Shredder, right? We could. There's ways that we could just lose an Ink Moth, which doesn't really feel that good right now. So, another Arcbound Ravager. All right, mill for 1. Welding jar gonna go. So the goal is to try to keep the number of cards in hand low. Do we spin the wheel? Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kappa Cannoneer. So right now the Kappa Cannoneer is just going to be here and just slowly build, but can't actually do anything. All right, there's no way he can attack, so it just sort of hangs out. But the ward's really nice and could potentially be a problem later. Ooh, that's a good one. Boseiju Pithing Needle. Pop for a blue and make a Thopter in response, because we're going to lose it. We don't need an extra land here, but having a Thopter to block an Ink Moth is actually going to be more important. There's still the way, let's see. Activate both Ink Moths, swing in whatever one doesn't get blocked. You pump, but again, Codex Shredder could just get eaten. Tap Codex Shredder for a blue mana off Urza, make another Thopter. So that play doesn't necessarily work that, you could set it up that way, right? Do some sacrificing and try to plan for it, but it's too risky. Oh, Walking Ballista, though. Walking Ballista for 2. So that can really make things break the stalemate here of the kind of potential of the Thopter Foundries and the Thopters that could block the Ink Moth. All right, let's see. Oh, where's a Saga? Yeah, life totals are pretty much just non-existent movements here. Oh, okay. Portable Hole is going to get played trigger Kappa Cannoneer, we'll get an extra counter. What do we fight? It's like you could target one of the Arcbound Ravagers, but I think the Walking Ballista is the safest bet here, which looks like we'll have some response times. Sacrifice this Ravager to this Ravager. Let's shoot Urza. That's a really good play. We needed our Urza. We can't do our Thopter combo without an Urza. Okay. Are we going to spin the wheel? Looks like we were trying to spin the wheel here. Spin the wheel. Shuffle the library there. Exile a top card, and until the end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana costs. Could be something awesome. Could be a land, and we've already played a land this turn, and it is not a... It's a nothing. So the spinning the wheel did not work so well. Urza is lay dead. But now there are no cards in hand. So now that takes the Inkmoth Nexus line out of the equation just for this turn. Unless another Haywire Mite showed up, unless an Agatha Soul Cauldron shows up, and then we can blow up that. I mean, we're still staring down a Kappa Cannoneer and an 8/8 construct, though. So, ooh, Zabaz, Spider-Man meme each other, and one will blow up. Put an extra counter there, but of course, Zabaz makes that modular trigger an additional, so that'll be 2 counters, putting that Arcbound up to a 4/4. All right. Oh, another Walking Ballista milled. That's great. Hey, Lantern. Will we be able to see it? Sort of. Not really. Again, we apologize. The future Lantern Control content will improve the camera quality. I promise for all you Lantern fans out there. All right, making a construct. Pixis of Pandemonium on top. And there we go. Constructs. There's 3 constructs out there for a Hardened Scales player. All right, Springleaf Drum. The nice ability. Looks like it is a Patchwork Automaton on top, but that's about to get shuffled away off the Urza Saga, so we don't have to worry about that. Make another construct. The army continues to grow over here. All right, search is good. What do we go now? Ozolith? Is it time? I just want the Ozolith. I love the Ozolith line so much. Some players came over and were like, what is happening with this board? It's like, this is... Lantern Control can be a very frustrating deck to play against because of situations like this where you're like, I don't feel like I can do anything because I can't attack, and you're milling my top card and manipulating what I get to draw. But Aether Spellbomb is a bit of a problem now. So this is one of those, like, I can bounce something annoying, at least a creature, right? Also, draw a card and, try to save what could be milled off and go, well, we're going to fight over this. If you only have 1 mill effect or 2 mill effects, I can try to just draw a card in response. But Springleaf Drum going to come. So that army of constructs are just getting bigger. And there are 9 9s each of them, but... the construct army is going to continue to grow for both players here. I think it might be more than 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're 10-10 constructs, but 11-11 constructs, 12-12 constructs. What are we going to go? What are we going to find? Oh, okay, yeah. We'll stare at each other with our, yeah, like, We got a nice little standoff going off here. Both players pointed their Aether spell bombs at each other, being like, all right, now we're a little bit safer. Oh, the Silex. Pixis of Pandemonium. That does have that exile, and they're technically face down. It doesn't matter when you have the Lantern of Insight and you know what it's going to be, but technically, for technical purposes. All right. Botanical Sanctum drawn for turn. All right. What else we got here? Arcbound Ravager. Is that the third or fourth one? I think third one. Mill top card. So yeah, there's the question mark. It's like, ooh, do we? I think it's an Agatha's on top. I think that's what it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, so that was the debate because it's like Agatha breaks the stalemate because it gives us access to Haywire Might or Walking Ballista. But all right, Filigree Silex. So just another thing to keep track of and manipulate, but really it's like put counters on it, blow things up. That's the way to think about it. Or if you get 10 counters on it, deal 10 damage. So we get 2 of those, we can destroy our opponent. You see the way that tapping the lands, like trying to keep those Ink Moss available. Patchwork of Tom Tom going to get added to the mix here. But yeah, look at this. We got 4 constructs over there at the top. We're both going to exile our top card. There's a land. It's technically face down, but welding jar. Do we care about a welding jar? We'll draw it. Why not? There's a saga. All right. Kappa Cannoneer continues to grow. 7 counters on it. 11 constructs. This is, I don't know. I keep seeing these types of games, and like I have so much fun seeing the Lantern Control like system be constructed and set up and like in full swing, running and doing its thing, where I can imagine just how like frustrating it is to deal with. But Silex is going to start getting counters.
10 will sacrifice it and deal 10 damage to any target. I can sacrifice it and destroy each non-land permanent with the exact mana cost that's on there.
All right, Urza Saga. There's a land on top that we don't really need or care about, so that's probably going to get hit with the Pixis. Mill whatever the top card is. Blue card, either a Kappa Cannoneer or the Consign or something. Could be another Patchwork coming out. Which again, it's you're looking at it and you go, okay, that's less relevant and less worrisome. Yeah, let's exile our top card.
I'm going to hold priority on my stuff.
Ooh.
Don't have anything that can mess with the top card of my library, right?
Correct.
Actually, does Kappa Cannoneer help me?
Both players have Kappa Cannoneer on top of the library. So now it's the stop and wait and goes, okay, do I care about that?
Both have Kappas on the top.
Is that going to make a difference to have a Kappa Cannoneer?
No.
But
Past turn.
Ensnaring Bridge is still there, and Lantern Control player is hellbent. So Silex is going to go up to 2 counters now.
Once that ensnaring bridge is gone.
Once that Ensnaring Bridge is gone, the army is coming through. But how do we get to that point? Let's see. Another Kappa Cannoneer is going to get played here.
5, 6 for
Another turtle. Turtle power.
I do have 4 mana.
It's like, I could spellbomb this turtle. I have enough mana with that Springleaf Drum. That's true. That's the other thing. It's like, you know, when eventually the stalemate is going to get broken. All right, Malevolent Rumble. What are we going to get? And there's a rumble on top.
1, 2. We
Oh,
are not
no.
needed, boys.
Oh no, this stupid land. Every time, I'm telling you. This frickin' land.
Every time it is.
Stergo Entertainment. Let me-
Yeah, Abstergo Entertainment. Ugh. Exile this. Return up to 1 target historic card from your graveyard to your hand. Then exile all graveyards.
What is your top card?
Oh yeah, let's take a look. It's an
Ugh. So we get to save the day here. This stupid land gonna try to break the stalemate.
Got this spell bomb with Sarah down.
So let's actually tap our mana first. We need a mana.
All right, pop the spawn.
And we are going
Pay the 3 mana.
and target into Agatha's Soul.
Gonna get this Agatha's Soul Cauldron back.
Do I actually target Agatha?
Maybe not.
It's either. I need you, math. I need you.
Yes, do some math.
I need you.
All right, math time.
Give me a second. Don't interfere with the game.
Yeah, don't interfere with the game. Focus up. That's the other thing too. Is like because the game is on camera and if other people have finished and the board state looks like this, it's gonna draw a lot of attention from players to come over and be like, "What is happening right now?" So what do we get? Oh, we get the Walking Ballista back. That's pretty good. Everyone's graveyard's exiled.
I'm getting milled out.
Okay. Okay. Walking Ballista is gonna come out. It's a 1/1 right now, currently. But the game is about to end. Have you been tracking? Do you know how it's going to end? All right. Turn's going to get passed. It's time to pull the trigger.
Force you to do stuff.
So, here's how it's going to go. We're going to force our opponent to do stuff.
All things that cost 2.
We're going to try to activate this Silex and try to destroy all things that have a mana of 2. Sacrifice this, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value equal to the number of oil counters on the filigree Silex. So right now it's 2. So that means Arcbound Ravagers will go away. That means that the Patchwork Automatons will go away as well. So this is going to try to force the everything to get blown up essentially into the assumption is a giant walking ballista to try to machine gun stuff. So it's like there's this window of opportunity where things are going to start happening where it's like going to be about a dominoes effect of how can we deal with this line that we see coming. So these are going to get eaten because they're going to die anyway. And then we still have the spell bombs. We still have Capcanniers. The only 2 cost thing we have on the lander control side is our Thopter Foundry. So we're going to sack this Ravager to this Ravager. Modular target here. And we will attempt to bounce that. So we're in the debate whether we sacrifice Zabaz right now.
In my mind, Boss is just with the cover.
Yeah, right. He's going anyway. They're all dying.
They're all dying. Everything's going.
These won't go.
Constructs won't die.
Okay. Yes.
All right, so we do the sacrifice. So basically, it's going to get the 5 extra counters, but 4 of them are not. And we accidentally put our Aether Spell Bomb on top of our library. But machine gunning down, at least, so it has 5 counters. We'll put 4 on it. Last thing before the Silex, or like sequencing-wise, maybe before the last bullet goes off, we're going to use the Thopter Foundry and eat the Ensnaring Bridge. gain a life, make our Kappa Cannoneers bigger. But Thopter Foundry is going to go away.
I put it up here because I was holding it for a second.
And we put our spell. Well, there we go. Spell bombs. But see, it's all fixed. No stress.
Untap these.
Okay, so like I said, the stalemate has been broken. The double Kappa Cannoneers make another construct. The Urza Saga search will go off, and then we've got all of these other constructs there. So finally, the stalemate was broken. What else do we find here?
I think you have like exact.
Think so.
You have exact just without. Well, with the constructs, obviously.
And then a Shadow Spear to help add some trample for one of the constructs. But yeah, it's basically we were trying to set it up so the Kappa Cannoneers would be big enough for lethal that we could just get in there. Oof. All right, what a game that was. Game 2 there, showing the grindiness of the deck. This is a long video today, but we do have Game 3 coming up shortly here. All right, here we go. Game number 3. The explosiveness of Hardened Scales does mean that this is a very potential and powerful way to go about it, but there is a very short time limit left on this match before we go to turns. So it's like, how do we deal with this? What sort of hands do we've got in store? And already we see kind of the disruption style of let's deal with what's on the battlefield from Atlantic Control with the portable hole. This card's amazing. It works so well in current Modern. Hardened Scales player gonna pass actually, and their active player turns 0. So we got 5 turns to be able to determine who is the winner of this match. Thopter Foundry. Again, like 3 cards you need. I don't know if we're going to get up to 3 cards. We definitely are not going to be able to with a Pithing Needle stopping. And there's the Ozolus we've been looking for. We've been calling for it this entire match. All right, a nice signed Otawara. And then there's the pass. So we're just sort of sitting, staring at each other. Stifle the search with Consign. And we'll try to do Walking Melissa was going to get hit with another Consign. All right.
Oh wait, mine was turn 3. Your turn 4.
But yeah, look at this, just back and forth, so quick. Pithing Needle.
Ink Moth next this year.
And aim an Ink Moth next. Look, and there's the Sword of the Meek. Ah,
Turn 5.
turn 5.
Can I beat Nan this? Chet, do you think I can do it?
No.
It's not.
All right, a tie. 1-1-1 between the players. A really explosive, powerful Ink Moth Nexus win with the Hardened Scales player in Game 1. The long grind of Lantern Control in Game 2. And Game 3, that just like, we're going to stop each other and stop what each other's game plan is and try to just, go for the 1-1-1 tie there. And that's like, if you're going to play Lantern Control in paper, you're going to get a lot of draws. It's going to happen. The more that you get used to the deck and pilot it, it does become easier and you can play a little bit faster, but it is one of those, like, there are moments in time where you just sort of see that. But yeah, we could see Lantern Control pieces were shaved as well to get in all of that protection and disruption there. But hope you guys enjoyed this. Of course, we do have a lot more Hardened Scales matches in the works. We've got some more Yawgmoth, some Neoform, some Jeskai Control, some Narset stuff, all kinds of good stuff. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching, everyone, and I'll see you all next game.